Hey, what up, guys? It's Nick the Quant. We got another post today for today's highest mathematical edge pick. Yesterday, I gave you guys the San Francisco Giants on the money line against the Dodgers. We've been telling them like crazy. They lost yesterday 4-0, which makes our highest mathematical edge picks now 5-7. Still profiting 1.27 units. So we've been taking some rather big underdogs recently, which have very low hitting rates. So that's why I've kind of accumulated a few losses in a row, but the risk has been largely mitigated. So these, again, are all long-term value picks, hence why I'm profitable still at 5-7. So saying that, we're going to get into today's highest mathematical edge pick, which is, again, the San Francisco Giants on the money line. Today, they're plus 149. My model has them favored at a 50.68% probability. The Dodgers aligned today in a contrarian market region. The interior models, my ensemble model, had them in a ton of contrarian positions, a lot of negative probabilities not negative probabilities, but negatively correlated positions as in terms of, the correlation to high winning rates, should I say it right? So the expected value for the Giants is plus 26.82%. So I'll be risking 2.99% on the Giants. Or in other words, 2.99 units. So now that we've said that, we're going to get into the math behind this pick. There's some overlap with last night's game as far as where the Dodgers are placed, but today's even more negative for the Dodgers. So the series right now is 2-1 Giants. So the Giants won 2 games as massive underdogs. Last night they were a big underdog and lost by 4. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go today. But before we really dive into it, I just want to say again, if you want access to all of my free sports betting picks, you can go to my X account at NickTheQuant44. Yesterday we had 11 picks. I went 6-5, profiting around 1.58 units. We cashed on a big Colorado Rockies underdog play, made like 4.2 units from that play alone. Took some heartbreaking losses, like the Rays, for example. They went up 3-1 in the 10th. Then they put in a AAA pitcher, and he freaked out, and they lost 5-3. So stuff happens, but nonetheless, profit's profit. I was on the Giants again, like I said last night, and that was one pick that missed. So rather than limiting yourself to being on just this one play, which, yeah, you'd be profitable, but you could be even more profitable and also just have risk diversification and try to reduce your variance, I suggest that you take a look at all my picks. And then if you ever want more insight regarding my daily results and stuff like that, you can either check out my X account or my Instagram account, which is Nick the Quant. So let's jump into the math on the Giants money line today. So as I talked about, my interior models to my ensemble model, they're calibrated based off of their empirical win rates, or they're just really overall their empirical data. And then I do a second layer of calibration, which right now I'm not doing because I'm having to collect the output data, which is the initial probabilities of my ensemble outputs. I need to collect more data before I implement that second layer calibration. But I do a third layer, which is technically the second layer right now, which is that market region calibration. So these probabilities I'm about to speak on are the empirical outcomes, or the empirical win rate of the initial predicted probability for each model. So if like model 1 says the Dodgers are a 70% probability, but in reality, that probability only hits 55% of the time, then model 1 has the Dodgers at a 55% probability. So I just wanted to explain that if you're new to this. So model 1 had the Dodgers at a 50% probability. So that right there is already pointing at the Dodgers being significantly overvalued. Model 2 has the Dodgers at a 75%. Model 3, Dodgers in a contrarian position. This position they're in has only been hitting 44.05% of the time. Model 4, Dodgers 50%. Model 5, Dodgers 57.14%. Model 6, Dodgers again contrarian, 46.27%. Model 7, Dodgers 54.87%. Model 8, Dodgers 50%. And then Model 9 was the Giants at a 54.2%. So a good, strong ending position for the Dodgers right there. For the Giants. So as you can see right now, as we went through these 9 models, there's really only one position or one model that really aligned with what their line is, that being Model 2, where they're at a 75%. The other 8 models were either viewing the Dodgers as being significantly overvalued, or a few of them actually viewed the Dodgers in a contrarian position. So my initial ensemble output had the Dodgers as an underdog and the Giants favored at a 50.83% probability. So now we account for the market region the Dodgers are placed in. The past 3 games they've played the Giants. All 3 past games, the first game they're actually in a positive market region relative to the entire market, meaning it's more correlated with wins, but where they were priced at was not an advantage. It just kind of confirmed that they were being overfavored. So what I mean by that is if you're in a market region that, say, has been hitting 58% of the time, but you're minus 200, yeah, you align with a more winning market region, but relative to the price you are, minus 200, which when you remove VIG, I think is around a 66 or a, it's like a 66% or a 65% probability, somewhere around there. You can see that that's an 8+% gap between the market as far as the region the team's in and then the line Vegas is giving you. So there's not positive expected value in just assessing the market region alone. So game 1, I think the Dodgers were looking at a 60% market region, but they were like minus 300 something or something like that. So definitely not an advantage. They lost that game, then they lost the following game again to the Giants, then they won last night. So now here in this 4th game, the Dodgers find themselves in a market region that currently only has a 49% outcome to wins, I guess is what you could say, or 49% win rate. So relative to their price, that is a significant disadvantage because the Dodgers are a large favorite. Relative to the market, it's pretty indifferent. 50% coin flip, it's sitting just below that, so it's really indifferent. If a team places in this, it's not, again, relative to the market, not really an advantage or a disadvantage. What matters is how it is relative to their price. So for the Giants, who would be the complement of this region, henceforth the 51%, relative to their price being plus 149, this is a significant pricing advantage for the Giants. So we calibrate for that probability, and it confirms the Giants at being a 50.93% probability, which brings me back to the beginning of this video, thus making the Giants plus 26.82% expected value, and risking 2.99% or 2.99 units, as one of my units is 1% of my bankroll. So hope you guys enjoyed the math breakdown on this. Now that you can understand what went into this pick, lock this pick in. Let's have another big winning day. Banking off of yesterday, my model continues to just keep taking in more and more and more data and getting more and more accurate. So in the long term, whether it's this model, my football models, whatever, we're just stacking winning and winning and winning for the future to come. So, peace.